Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Okay, fine, guys. So let's try to start with the class. And today we are going to talk about like a Bayesian algorithm. So let me first of all share my screen and okay, yeah. Here, so you will be able to find out like a code for naive Bayes. So you can just like try to download this code, and then we are going to talk about this code after having discussion on the theoretical part. So let me open up like a Jupyter notebook. Okay, so E drive. Okay, so you can just download the code, guys, and whatever we have discussed in yesterday's class. So recordings are already available over here. So you can just try to download this recordings at any point of a time. And today we are going to talk about this particular algorithm. So what is basically like a Bayesian algorithm and how it works basically with the categorical data and with respect to a non-categorical data, which is nothing but a continuous data set. So let's try to understand this part. So here, right, so first of all, like a Bayesian algorithm, whenever we are talking about, right, so it's not a single algorithm, so it's basically like a family of the algorithm that you all will be able to find out. And whenever we are talking about a naive Bayes, so naive Bayes is one of those algorithm which belongs to that particular family of the algorithm. There are many more algorithms that you all will be able to find out, like Bernoulli's theorem you will be able to find out, which is again a part of a Bayesian algorithm itself. There is like a multinomial naive Bayes that you will be able to find out. There is something called as a naive Bayes for a continuous variable. There is something called as a naive Bayes for a categorical variable. So these are the different kind of algorithms that you all will be able to find out in whenever we are talking about a naive Bayes. So first of all, let's try to understand what is a naive Bayes algorithm and what is a Bayes theorem, by the way, right? So whenever we talk about a Bayes theorem, right, so B. So whenever we are talking about like a Bayes theorem, right? So basically it comprises of, you can say this particular function, probability of occurrence of A when B has already occurred is equal to probability of occurrence of B when A has occurred, and probability of occurrence of A divided by probability of occurrence of B. This is something this algorithm says. Now, what is the meaning of this algorithm? So we'll try to understand this particular part. We'll try to derive this particular things as well based on some sort of a data set. Yeah. So here, this is the Bayesian algorithm that you will be able to find out for a categorical variable, right? Now, in which case we are supposed to use this Bayesian algorithm or Bayes theorem. So first of all, you are supposed to understand that particular part, and then only you will be able to apply this algorithm. So this Bayesian algorithm is been used basically for a classification, right? So in a classification, so we have seen many other algorithm as well. Yesterday we have seen like a SVC, I will say, right? So again, for the classification, we have seen logistic, we have seen decision tree, we have seen random forest, we have seen XGBoost, AdaBoost, gradient boosting, and stacking. Many things we have seen in terms of classification. So again, this is the algorithm which is going to help you out to do a classification, but in a specific case, I'll say. So it's not like you can try to apply this algorithm everywhere. So wherever you have to do a classification, so this things are very much important. So we are talking about like implementation of this algorithm, so yes, these things are very much important to understand before implementing this Bayesian algorithm, right? So here in this algorithm, what you will have to do is, or what basically happens over here is, this algorithm you will be able to use when each and every contributor, or you can say like each and every features are independently like contributing something towards a result or something towards a label. So only in that case you all will be able to, or you all are supposed to use this Bayesian algorithm or Bayes theorem, right, or a naive Bayes algorithm you are supposed to use. For example, right, so for example, maybe like if I'm talking about one particular situation, right, so one particular situation that like I have to maybe like do a party, right, or maybe I have to go outside, right. So I have to decide that whether I will be able to go outside, so whether I will be able to go outside or whether I will not be able to go outside, right. So these are the things that we have to decide. So either yes or no, I have to decide based on like a couple of the factors. So this is the two decision which I have to make. Let's suppose yes or no kind of a decision. Now, so it could possible that there can be a multiple factors which can contribute to say yes if I'm going outside or if I'm not going outside. It could possible that maybe a weather condition, right? So maybe weather condition again maybe like timing, right, or maybe like a weather condition, or maybe like timing, or maybe like distance, let's suppose distance, yeah. So here you will be able to find out that there are like let's suppose I have to make a decision that I have to go outside or I won't be able to go outside. So here maybe a weather condition, maybe a timing, or maybe a distance, so individually can contribute to say yes or say no in this particular place. So here maybe like if weather condition is like a rainy, right, so I can say that if weather condition is rainy, and timing can be made well, like 12 a.m. You can say 12 a.m. and distance is, let's suppose, 50 kilometer, right? So here in this case, maybe a distance can contribute to say yes or to say no. So if distance is too huge, right? So although like weather condition is anything, right, or weather condition is like a normal, or maybe a rainy, or maybe a sunny, right, or even if a timing is normal, so for sure I will have to like give importance to the distance, that okay fine, so maybe distance is too far, so I will not be able to go outside for a party or something like that, right. Even if let's suppose a distance is very less, like let's suppose a 10 kilometer, right, and a timing is maybe 12 a.m., but weather condition is like a heavy rain, right, heavy like rain. So in this case maybe like a heavy rain, although everything is good, right, but still like a heavy rain, because of heavy rain maybe I will not be able to go outside, so I can say no based on that reason. It could possible that weather condition is, let's suppose, like normal, right, but maybe like timing is like 2 a.m., right, 2 a.m., like a night, if we have, and like a kilometer is, let's suppose, like a 5 kilometers. So even in this case maybe I can say yes or maybe I can say no, just based on the timing. So here in this situation you all are able to find out that individually, right, so these are nothing but a feature, right, so these are nothing but a feature, and individually all of these things are contributing towards my decision, right. So whatever decision that I'm trying to make, so everyone is contributing like something to my decision individually, right. So what I will have to do is, so I need some algorithm which will try to take a combined probability of each and every feature to make this kind of a decision. I'm looking for such kind of a algorithm, because whatever algorithm we have discussed so far so forth, so it used to take like an entire x value at a time, or entire feature vector at a time, and then based on that it try to decide a label vector. This is what we have discussed, this is what we have seen in a rest of the algorithm. But Bayesian algorithm works in a little bit different way, right. So individually if these things are contributing, so first of all we try to like if something is contributing individually, so in that case we always try to like choose, or we always try to go ahead with the Bayesian theorem instead of going ahead with any other classification algorithm. So again in interview, people ask you a question that in which case you are supposed to apply a Bayesian algorithm, or whenever you are trying to give a justification for using a Bayesian algorithm, so you are supposed to say that my entire feature, or each and every feature that I was using inside my data set, was independently contributing towards my decision, and that's the reason, so I have used basically a Bayesian theorem, right. So this kind of a situation you can try to like refer in that particular place. Okay, now here right? So here, let's suppose if I'm trying to do sentiment analysis, right? So let's suppose if I have to if I have a classes like a happy, sad, or maybe something like that, and that happy and sad classes, right? So that depends upon what? So that depends upon basically individual words. If you have seen a sentiment classifier, so over there you will be able to find out that my final decision, or whether it's a happy or whether it's a sad or whether it's a angry, whether it's a abusive like a word. So it depends upon the individual contributor. It depends upon individual contributor, and in that case, yes, you can try to use happily this like a naive Bayes algorithm in case of a sentiment analysis. And there are many other instances also where you all will be able to find out where you can try to use a Bayesian theorem. So a simple objective and idea is that if my feature vectors are individually contributing, not as a whole, because as of now what we were trying to do is, so we were trying to take one row or like an entire feature vector at a time to make some kind of or to find some kind of a relationship with respect to our labels, right? But here no, here individually they are going to contribute to make a decision. So individual contribution, so we are supposed to correlate somehow in some way, and this is where this formula or like a probability of occurrence of A when V has already happened is going to help you out. So the meaning of this formula is nothing but probability of occurrence of A. You are supposed to find out. I mean, probability of occurrence of, let's suppose, yes, you are supposed to find out when B has already happened. Means B has already happened means, let's suppose weather is rainy, or maybe timing is this one, or maybe distance is this one, or maybe individually, right? So maybe you are supposed to say yes or you are supposed to say no when weather is rainy, right? So this is what it says. This is what this PA of B always says. Probability of occurrence of A when V has already happened is going to tell you. Yeah. So in this case, what will be my X? So it could possible that my X will be just a rainy, right? My X will be just a rainy condition, right? And then my Y will be what? My Y will be maybe let's suppose yes. So in this case, what I'm supposed to find out? I'm supposed to find out that what is a probability that I will go outside if weather is rainy, right? This is one of the condition. Or else you can say that what whether I will be able to go outside if it's raining and timing is 12 a.m. and then a distance is like a 50 kilometer, right? So whether I will be able to say yes or whether I will be able to say no. Same thing happens even over here. So here you can try to say yes or you can try to say no when these things has already happened. So based on that, so you will have to figure out, you will have to find out all of this a probability, a combined probability, or maybe an individual probability, and then you all will be able to perform this kind of operations in a simplest possible way. This is what happens generally in a Bayesian theorem again. So this particular formula is been applicable only in case of a categorical data. If you have a categorical data, you can try to implement it. If you have a continuous data set, so in that case I will be talking about a different equation. Like I told you, so Bayesian theorem or Bayesian equations are a family of equation. It's not just a single equation you will be able to find out. So there are many equation that we try to use in a different use cases, right? So it depends upon my data set. It depends upon what kind of a problem that I'm trying to solve, and based on that, so we try to select either of these algorithm. So we are going to prove this one like a PA of B manually, right? So we are going to prove each and everything, and then based on that, so we are going to make a decision. Yeah. So let's try to just understand this entire things, right? So let's try to understand that what I will be able to do when this things has happened, what kind of a decision I will be able to make when this things has already happened. Yeah. So this is what we are going to discuss. This is what we all are going to talk about. Okay. So here let's try to understand this algorithm with respect to one of the examples. So there is one of the very popular example you will be able to find out on a Geeks of Geeks, and I generally used to take that example to explain this entire algorithm, because those that example is pretty awesome. And yeah, so I'll be talking about that example itself over here in this particular place. So let me take that data set first of all. If possible, I can try to take some images over here. Just wait for like a couple of minutes. I'll figure it out that how I can take that image. Okay, so okay, so here let's try to understand this particular data set, right? So again, like I told you, so I have picked up this data set from Geeks of Geeks, and we are going to talk about this particular a data set. So as you can see over here that this data set is given to you, and this data set says that okay, so whether I will be able to play a golf or I will not be able to play a golf. So this is basically a final decision which I have to make. So again, decision can be yes, decision can be no. Now this decision I will be able to make based on these four factors which is given to me. So here you will be able to find out that outlook, temperature, humidity, and windy is given to you, right? So these are the four features which has been given to you. And as you can see that whenever we have to play a golf, so independently, right? So independently, all of these features are going to contribute, right? So not we'll try to find out the combined probability, but still you will be able to find out that individually, like each and every features are contributing towards what, whether I will be able to play a golf or whether I will not be able to play a golf. And this is what we are supposed to figure it out, right? So let's suppose if here, so you are saying that no, I will not be able to play a golf. So if you will try to check outlook condition, so outlook is basically a rainy, right? Temperature is hot, humidity is high, and windy is false, means there is no wind, right? There is no wind, right? And here, so humidity is too high, temperature is too hot, you can say, and a condition this one is rainy. So maybe this is not contributing, right? But it could possible that this is contributing, it could possible that this is contributing, it is possible that this is contributing, and then based on that, maybe I will be able to make a decision that no, I'm not supposed to play a golf, or I'm supposed to play a golf. Again, if I'm going to play a golf, which is yes, right? So there is no wind, right? Humidity is high, so again, it is not going to affect me. There is a very high temperature, right? It is not going to affect me. But there is like a overcast in terms of a outlook, so there is a raining condition, it's just a overcast. So in that case, I can make a decision that okay, fine, so I will be able to play a golf. So here you can just observe that this is some of the important factor, right? Because if you will try to check yes or no, difference between yes or no, so things are same, right? These things are same, these things are same, right? So all of these things are same, but here this is one of the factor which was different, and just because of that, right, just because of that, it's not raining, whether it's a hot or even if there is a humidity, but still I'll go and I'll play a golf, right? I'm able to make a decision that no, I'll go, I'll play a golf. So you will be able to observe over here that rest of the factors are same, right? So rest of the factors are same, but just because of this overcast, I'm able to make a decision that yes, I will go and I will play a golf. So this particular factor is contributing a lot, right? In this particular case, that okay, fine, so I can play a golf, right? And in this case, this condition was raining, right? So it was raining basically, and because of that, I have made a decision that no, I will not be able to play a golf, right? So this is what I was trying to explain, that here independently each and every vectors are trying to contribute, each and every vectors are trying to contribute, and based on that, so you are going to decide that whether I will be able to play a golf or whether I will not be able to play a golf, which is again a huge factor, right? Which is again a huge factor for any algorithm, I'll say. So I can't try to use just a decision tree or maybe a logistic regression over there, because at a time, so it try to use the entire features, right? It try to use the entire combined feature, and then based on that it try to make a decision. So I need some algorithm which will be able to check the individual contribution of all of these feature on this particular labels, and then based on that I will be able to make some kind of a decision. And this is where, right, this is where a Bayesian theorems comes into a picture, or this is where we are going to talk about a naive Bayes. And naive Bayes says that probability of occurrence of A when B has already happened is equal to probability of occurrence of B when A has already happened into probability of occurrence of A divided by probability of occurrence of B. This is what it says, right? This is what this particular algorithm says at any point of a time, and this is what we are going to even derive, or we are always going to prove in this particular situation. Yeah. So here, right, so here, like, I'll have to find out the correlation. Here I have to find out the correlation between this and this with respect to this one. Yeah. So I can say that okay, so my X is what? So here my X is having 4 condition. So here, like, it is like a rainy, first of all, right? So let me write it down. Yeah. So here my X is rainy, and hot, right? Like a temperature is hot, humidity is, I can say, like a high, and then here windy is equal to false, right? And then, like, what is my Y? So my Y is no. So I'm supposed to find out that what is a probability of getting no, and what is a probability of getting yes, right? What is the probability of getting no? What is a probability of getting yes, right? In this situation, when these things has already happened, right? So when weather condition is this one, outlook condition is this one, temperature condition is this one, humidity condition is this one, and windy condition is this one, right? So if I will be able to find out a probability of yes and both no, so I can say that okay, so like, my work is done, right? And whichever is giving me the high probability, that will be my final decision, right? So if for yes, if I'm able to get the high probability, yes will be my decision. If I'm able to get for no a high probability, so in that case my no will be a final decision. So here you are supposed to find out what is my A, right? What is my A that you are supposed to find out? So probability of occurrence of A you are trying to find out, right? Just try to, like, observe, just try to observe over here. So you're trying to find out probability of occurrence of A when B has already happened. This is what it means, right? So you are supposed to find out probability of occurrence of Y, like a probability of occurrence of no when this rainy condition, hot, high, and false has already happened. And you are supposed to find out probability of occurrence of yes when rainy, hot, high, and false has already happened, right? This is what you are supposed to find out. If I'll talk about this particular algorithm, right, if I'll talk about this particular formula, right, so this is what you are supposed to find out for yes as well as for no. And then only you can say that whether I will go and I will play golf or not. So it's simply probability of occurrence of no when this has already happened, probability of occurrence of yes when this things has already happened. This is what I'm supposed to find out in a final stage. As simple as that. So here you are able to find out a multiple things which has already happened. An individual contribution you are supposed to find out, you are supposed to consider, and then only, right? So then only you will be able to perform this kind of a operation. So now in a probability, right? So in a probability, so if you will have to write a formula, probability of A and probability of B, if A and B are independent to each other. So as you can see, my outlooks and my temperature, humidity and windy, all of these 4 features are independent of each other. There is no relations that you will be able to find out. There is no relationship between, like, a rainy condition, this outlook condition, and a windy condition. There is no relationship between, like, a outlook and a temperature, right? There is no relationship between outlook or temperature and humidity, right? So these, all of these features are independent of each other, and we have to find out the individual contribution on top of this one. So if there are if you are trying to find out the probability of A and B, and if A and B are independent of each other, so you can rewrite this formula in this way: probability of A into probability of B. This is what we can write, right? So this is what a probability says, that if the 2 things are independent of each other, right? So we can write combined probability of A and B as this one, P of A and P of B. This is a very like a simple formula that you all will be able to find out. Now here, why I'm trying to tell you this formula, right? Why I'm trying to tell you this particular formula? So I'm trying to tell you this particular formula because I'm trying to find out what? I'm trying to find out probability of occurrence of yes, probability of occurrence of no, when all of these things has happened. And we know that all of these things are independent to each other, right? It's not dependent at all in this particular place. So here, if you will try to write a very generalized formula, right? Here, if you'll try to write a very generalized formula, so you can try to write in this way: probability of occurrence of Y, right? Let's suppose is nothing but probability of occurrence of Y is nothing but it depends upon multiple individual feature x1, x2, x3 and so on, let's suppose on xn. So if you will have to rewrite this formula in this way, right? This is the original formula: probability of occurrence of A when B has already happened is nothing but probability of occurrence of B into like a probability of occurrence of B when A has already happened, right? So this is like a what your like a actual formula is. So this is what your like actual formula is. So here what I will do is, so here I can try to rewrite the same formula in this particular way. Just try to follow this formula, nothing else, right? So like here, probability of occurrence of A when B has already happened is equal to probability of occurrence of B when A has already happened, right? So here, what is my B? So my B is a multiple factor, right? My B is a multiple independent feature, you can say. So here I can try to rewrite in this way. So probability of like occurrence of x1 when Y has already happened into probability of, because this is the individual probability, like this is the individual probability is equal to the combined independent probability. So probability of like x2 when Y has happened, probability of occurrence of x3 when Y has already happened, because we have a multiple x1, x2, x3, into finally you will be able to like into finally you will be able to write probability of occurrence of Y. This is what we have written, right? Probability of A, probability of A. So this particular factor, so it will go till xn divided by, right, divided by probability of B. I have written probability of B. I have written. Now what is B? B is a multiple factors that we have. So here in a denominator, so you will have to write a probability of like x1 and then probability of like x2 and probability of xn. This is what we can try to generalize as a formula over here in this particular place. This is how I will be able to generalize. So again, let me just try to rewrite this same thing in a neat and clean way. So again, same thing I'm going to write. So probability of, I can say, because this is something that we are going to use. So here I can say that probability of Y like when x1, x2, x3 and xn has already happened is equal to a probability of x1 when Y has already happened, probability of x2 when Y has already happened, probability of like x3 when Y has already happened, right? And like in the similar way, probability of xn when Y has already happened into, right, into this one. So into probability of Y, right, divided by a probability of x1, probability of x2, probability of x3 and probability of xn, right? So this is what you will have to rewrite if you will try to rewrite the same thing in this way. So yes, this is how I will be able to rewrite. As you can see, right, as you can see over here, that here we have x1, we have x2, we have x3, we have xn and so on into probability of this one. So this is nothing but this is a multiplication, right? This is the multiplication that we have of the independent occurrences or the independent like an event which has happened. So if I'll have to rewrite this entire thing, so I can maybe try to rewrite in this way, like a probability of like a Y when x1, x2, xn has already happened is equal to a probability of Y. I can try to consider this factor, probability of Y into a multiplication. So you must be aware about a summation symbol, right? A sigma symbol you must be aware about. So this is something called as a product symbol, right? So product of I is equal to 1 till n, right? And probability of what? Probability of xi of Y, because x1, x2, x3, xn, this is what we have, right? Divided by, right? Divided by, you can say that again I have like a product of, I can say like I is equal to 1 till n, and probability of xi. This is what we can try to rewrite, or we can try to generalize this particular formula in this particular way. So this is basically nothing but it's a multiplication. Now denominator is going to be same, right, for everyone, because it's in a denominator you have what, you have x1 x2 x3, means you have all the feature, right? So I can try to generalize, I can try to like generalize this formula again in this particular way, that probability of like a y is nothing but like when x1 x2 xn has already happened is nothing but it's directly proportional to a probability of y. Same thing I'm trying to write, whatever I have in a numerator, I is equal to 1 till n, and a probability of xi of y, right? So this like a probability is directly proportional to this one, right? So this probability is like directly proportional to this one, and then, right, and then what you have to do, so you will try to find out this probability of occurrence of y with respect to all the y. Let's suppose in my y, so I have a multiple classes, I have like a, as of now I have just a yes or no. Let's suppose I have a 5 classes, right? So what I will do is I will try to find out this probability of occurrence of all of these 5 classes when these things has already happened, right? And then whichever is giving me a highest result, whichever is giving me a highest probability, so that will be a final class for that given feature, for that particular given x values, x1 x2 x3 xn. So that will be the y. This is what we are supposed to prove, or this is what we are supposed to find out, right? So this is the equation, this is the final equation that we are going to use. This is something that we are going to use to find out that whether I will be able to play a golf, so y is equal to yes, right? Or whether I won't be able to play a golf, y is equal to no, if these are the condition which is given to me. Somehow if I'm able to learn these things out of my data set which is given to me, so for sure tomorrow if something new you are going to give it to me, right? So tomorrow you are trying to tell me that okay, outlook is maybe like sunny, right? And then temperature is maybe like mild, right? Temperature is mild. And then humidity, so humidity is, let's suppose, like normal, right? Normal. And then windy, so windy is equal to true, right? So whether I have to say yes or whether I have to say no, so this is the decision which I have to make, which is a question mark, right? So if I'm able to learn all of those things from my data set, so if tomorrow if you will give me this 4 feature, if you will give me this 4 factor, I will be able to give you yes or I will be able to give you no based on this particular equation, right? Based on this particular one. So we have to learn this independent, I can say, so we have to learn this independent like a feature contribution on top of the final result, or on top of the final labels that we are trying to get, right? So this is what we will try to understand, and this is what we will try to write down. Okay. Now here, so these things are already given to you, right? And I told you that independent feature you are supposed to find out. So you are supposed to find out at any point of a time that what is a independent contribution of each and everything. So what I will do is, so I will try to like open up my one word book, and Okay, so here, here, so as you can see, we have what? So we have our original data. So we have original table over here, right? So in this table, you all are able to find out that we have like a outlook, temperature, humidity, windy, and like a play goal. So again, this table is available in a Geeks of Geeks itself. So I have taken this particular one from a Geeks of Geeks, right? Just to like so that we can try to understand this particular part in the best possible way. Okay, so here we have like a outlook, we have a temperature, we have a humidity, and we have a play golf, or we are not going to play a golf. I think these things are visible to all of you guys. I don't have to like a zoom in. Is it fine? Yeah. Okay, fine. So here you will be able to find out that I have like outlook, I have a temperature, I have a humidity, I have a windy, play golf, whether I will be able to play a golf or not. And then here you will be able to find out a table, right? Now, what is a meaning of this table? So here in this table, so we are like trying to find out independent probability. How? Let's try to understand. Yeah. So here in this case, if I'll just talk about this particular column, outlook. So in this column, we have what and all different kind of categories. So we have rainy categories, we have overcast categories, and we have sunny categories, right? So rainy, overcast, and sunny. These are the three types which is available inside this particular feature, outlook feature that we have. Now, at the same point of a time, if I'm talking about a temperature, right? So here we have hot, we have a cold, cool, and we have a mild. So again, inside a temperature, we have like a three feature. If I'll talk about a humidity, so we have like categories as high, we have categories as a normal. So we have inside the humidity column, so we have like two features. Again, if I'll talk about like a windy condition, so we have like a two, so true or false. So what we have to find out over here is that what is a independent probability of playing a golf or not playing a golf when these things has already happened, right? When outlook has already happened, means when some kind of a outlook has already happened, then what is a probability that I will be able to say yes or I will be able to say no? When some kind of a temperature has already happened, then what is a probability that I will be able to say yes or I will be able to say no? When humidity has already happened, then what is a like a probability that I will be able to say yes or I will be able to say no. So I have to find out a individual probability, and that's the reason. So you will be able to find out first four table in this upper section. You will be able to find out first four table: outlook table, temperature table, humidity table, and a windy table, where we are trying to find out a individual contribution, and then finally we are trying to consider your labels as well, right? We are trying to consider your labels as well, and then we are trying to find out the probability. How? Let's try to understand. So here inside this outlook column, right, first of all we'll try to consider outlook column, and here we have an outlook table. Now inside this outlook, so what and all like categories, what and all different kind of a outlook that we have. So we have a rainy, we have a sunny, and we have a overcast. So fine, we have a sunny, overcast, and we have a rainy over here, right? So here we are trying to find out that how many times we have like a sunny, or we have a rainy, or we have a overcast when we have like we played golf or when we have not played golf. So if I'll talk about like, let's suppose like a sunny, right? So how many times we have sunny? So one times, two times, three times, four times, right? And then five times. So we have in total five times we have sunny, right? In total five times we have sunny. So here we have sunny and we played a golf. In case of outlook, here we have sunny, we have played the golf. Here we have sunny, we have not played a golf. Here we have sunny, we have played a golf. Here we have sunny, we have not played a golf. So out of five times, right? Out of five times when sunny has occurred. So when, how many times we have played a golf and how many times we have not played a golf, right? So how many times we have played a golf and how many times we have not played a golf? This is what we are supposed to find out, right? So here you can say that in case of sunny, so we have a yes. In case of sunny, we have yes. In case of sunny, we have no. In case of sunny, we have yes. And in case of sunny, we have no, right? So we can say that two times we have like no, and one time, right? So two times we have no, and like three times out of this total five times. So two times we have said yes, we have said like a no to golf, right? This one and this one, and three times we said yes to golf, right? So three times we have said yes to golf. And here, so you will be able to find out that there is a little bit of mistake people have made, whoever has written this article, right? I always like try to rectify these things like whenever we used to like use this data. So you will be able to find out that like there is a like a there is a little bit of mistake which people have made, not an issue. So it will be like a opposite. So yes will be three, and then no will be two. Yeah. So like a three times we have said yes, and two times we said no, right? Now in total, so like we said yes, and we said no these many number of the times. Now, so what is probability? And again, so like let's suppose if I'm talking about overcast, right? So in case of overcast, okay, so in case of overcast, so overcast is here, overcast is here, overcast is here, and overcast is here. Now, so overcast, yes, overcast, yes, overcast, yes, overcast, yes. So there was a four yes, this data is correct, and there is zero no, right? So fine, we are done with the overcast. Now, so the another like the third one is basically a rainy. So like how many times we have rainy? So we have rainy, we have a rainy over here, we have a rainy, we have a rainy, we have a rainy over here, right? So how many times we said yes and how many times we said no? So this rainy, no. This rainy, no. This rainy, no. This rainy, yes. This rainy, yes, right? So here, right? So we have said basically like we have said like twice, I will say like a yes, and then I can say like three times we have said no for this particular rainy condition. So three times like we said no, we are not able to play a golf, and then like two times we said yes, we will be able to play a golf. So again, two and three, that you all will be able to find out. Now same thing I can try to perform for our temperature column as well. So in case of a temperature column, like let's suppose like we have hot, we have a mild, and we have a cold. So we have a hot, we have a hot, we have a hot, and again we have a hot over here. So one, two, three, four times we have hot. So yes, hot, and then yes. So yes for hot is 2, and no for hot is 2. So this is fine. Now if I'll talk about a mild, so mild, and then mild, and then mild, and then mild, and then mild. So five times we have a mild, and then like we have yes, and let me like erase this entire things. Okay, so here we have like mild, we have mild, we have mild, we have mild, we have mild. Five times we have mild. We said yes, we said no, you can say. We said yes, we said yes, and we said like a no. So we said no. So three times we have said, okay, how they have given this for. I think I have missed some mild, right? Okay, this mild I have missed. Okay, this is like a yes. Okay, so how many times yes we are getting? So we are getting four times yes, right? And how many times we are getting no in case of mild? So two times mild, no we are getting. So this data is again fine, right? Again, like if I'll talk about a different condition, right? So if I'll talk about a different situation over here, so what will happen in that case? So let's suppose cool, right? So one cool, two cool, three cool we have, right? And then this cool we have. So in total, four times we have a cool. So cool yes, cool no, cool yes, cool yes. So out of four, three times we have yes. So three times we have yes, and then one times we have what? So we have like a no. So this is also correct, I will say, right? So there is some mistake in our Outlook like a table that you will be able to find out. Now if I'll talk about humidity, so humidity is like a high, 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 and high, right? So how many times we have high? So one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 times we have like a high. Now out of that, so how many times we have yes? So we have yes, we have yes, we have yes over here, right? So out of like a 7 times, we have 3 times yes. So yes, we have like a 3 times yes and 4 times no. So 1 no, 2 no, 3 no, and 4 no. So yes, we are able to make this particular table. Yeah. Then if I'll talk about like normal. Yeah. So in case of normal, so how many times we have normal? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times we have normal. Now how many times out of 7 times like we have yes? So 1 yes, now 2 yes, 3 yes, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, right? So 6 times we have yes, and then 1 times I think we have no. So this is no, right? This is no. So 1 times we have no. So this is also like a fine till this point. Now if I'll talk about a wind, so we have like a false, we have false, we have false, we have false, then we have false, we have false, we have false, then we have false. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? I think like in total, uh, 8 times we have like a false. So out in windy condition, so how many times we have like let's suppose yes, so false yes, false yes, false yes, and then false yes, and then false yes, and then false yes. So in total 6 times we have yes in case of a windy false. So yes, 6 times we have yes, and then if I'll talk about no, so 2 times we have no. Similarly, you will be able to find out for true. So here I'm able to build this for table, right? So for table which is trying to give you the independence of like saying yes or independence of saying no, based on like occurrences of all of those data sets, right? So now how I will be able to like how I will be able to find out a final probability out of this table. Why we are trying to build this particular table. Yeah. So let's try to find out. So here, right, look into this data as well, first of all. So we are trying to play a golf or we are not trying to play a golf. So here out of this 14 data, we have in total 14 data starting from 0 to 13, right? So how many times we have yes? So 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 times we are going to play a golf. So 9 times we are yes, and then 5 times we are no, right? So 9 times we are yes and 5 times we are no. So we are not going to play a golf. This is what we are trying to find out. Now here, right now here, so let's try to consider these like tables, these particular values as well. So 9 times, just remember, 9 times we are going to play a golf and 5 times we are not playing a golf based on certain condition, based on certain situation. So here I'm able to find out that how many times I will play a golf when we have a sunny. How many times will not play a golf when we have not like a, we have like a how many times I will not play a golf when we have a sunny. So again, in case of a temperature, how many times I will play a golf when there is a hot, how many times will not play a golf when there is a like a no, like a there is a, like how many times I will not play a golf when there is a hot. Similarly, so how many times I will play a golf when there is a wind and when there is a no wind, right? So how many times I'll play a golf, I'll not play a golf. So these things, yes and no, we are able to construct. Now, so let's talk about this table because there is some problem with this table, right? There is like a 3, 2, 3, and again like a 3, 2. This is like a this is a mistake. So here let's talk about this temperature table over here. That with the help of that, let's try to understand. So here in total, how many times you are playing a golf, right? So if I'll ask you a question, if I'll ask you a very simple question over here, that how many times, right? Just looking into this temperature table, right? Looking into this temperature table just for this particular feature. So if I'll ask you a question that what is a probability that you will say yes when there is a hot temperature is hot, right? So what will be your answer, guys, in this case, right? So what will be your answer? So how many times? My question is very simple, right? I'm just trying to ask you a very simple probability question that what is a probability that you will play golf? You will play a golf, right? So how many times in total you are playing a golf? Let's suppose if I'll ask you a question. So let's suppose I have a dice, right? I have a dice. We know that you will be able to get either 1, either 2, either 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if I'll ask you that what is a probability of getting 2 if you will roll a dice, if you'll throw a dice for once, so what is a probability that you will be able to get 2, right? So simple, it's 1 by 6 because probability weightage of each and every occurrences are same. Someone is saying 1 by 3, which is not correct. It's a 1 by 6. Yeah. So like out of 6 probable things, I will be able to get 2. So the probability is 1 by 6. Fine. Now here again, I'm asking you a question that, okay, so what is a probability that you will play a golf when temperature is hot? So in total, what is like when, how many times you are going to play a golf? 9 times, right? So in total, how many times you said yes to golf? 9 times, right? Now, out of that, right? So how many times you said you will play a golf when temperature was hot? 2 times you said, right? 2 times. So it's a 2 by 9. If I'll ask you a question that what is a probability that you will not play a golf, right? You will not play a golf when temperature is hot. If I'll ask you this question, so for sure, no means 5 times you are not playing a golf. So total occurrences are 5. And then 2 times when there was a hot, you have not went for the golf. So 2 by 5. Again, if I'll ask you a question, just repeat it twice or thrice. You all will be able to get these things. If I'll ask you a question that how many times I will play a golf when temperature is mild, right? How many times you will play a golf? So again, 4 by 9. Yeah. So total is 9, and then 4 times you are going to play a golf, right? So when a temperature was mild, so 4 by 9. If I'll ask you a question that how many times you will not play a golf, so 2 by 5, right? So again, if I'll ask you how many times you will play a golf when temperature was cool, so 3 by 9. How many times you will not play a golf when temperature was cool, so 1 by 5. So this is how we have constructed this table, right? So here you will be able to find out that we are trying to find out the individual probability in between this and this. So we are trying to find out that how many times you will play a golf or you will not play a golf when temperature is either hot, either mild, or either cool, right? So individual probability we are trying to find out over here. So individual probability we are trying to find out. Similarly, for humidity, how many times you will play a golf, means how many times you will say yes to golf when humidity is too high, right? Humidity is high. So you said 3 times yes, right? So and total a yes was 9. So 3 by 9. How many times you will not play a golf when humidity is like a high? So you said 4 times, right? So fine. So this is how this entire a table is been constructed, and we are going to utilize this table. How we are going to utilize this table? Let's try to understand, right? So let's try to understand this one. So my question is again very simple over here, right? It's not at all a fancy question that we are going to solve, right? So see, thing is, you have this table is given to you, let's suppose, right? This entire table is given to you, and I would like to ask one very simple question to you again, right? So I would like to ask a very simple question to you again, that okay, so today, right, let's suppose if I'm going to add one more data over here, right? Let's suppose I'm going to add one more data over here now. So today's condition, this is, let's suppose this is the today condition which I'm giving you. So let's suppose today is sunny, or let's suppose today, right? So today is, let's suppose sunny, right? And then it's hot, and then humidity is, let's suppose it's very normal, and then let's suppose there is no wind, right? Now you have to tell me that whether I should go for a golf or whether I should not go, right? So you have to answer me this question over here. Now, how you will be able to answer me this particular question? So let's try to understand. So someone has already said yes, I will play golf. So let's try to mathematically find out these things, and then we'll be able to find out. So don't try to look into Geeks for Geeks directly. Yeah. So I have already informed you that I have taken this example from Geeks of Geeks, so it's fine. Let's try to understand, right? Let's try to understand this particular part, that whether I will be able to play a golf or whether I will not be able to play a golf. Yeah. So see, what you have to find out is like a probability of yes based on today condition, or probability of no you have to find out based on today condition. So based on today condition. Yeah. So this is what you have to find out. Now, what is a probability of saying yes, right? Based on today condition. So what is the today condition? Today condition is sunny, right? And then it's a hot, and then like a humid is normal, and then it's a false. So based on this, you will be able to tell me that, okay, so whether I will be able to play a golf or whether I will not be able to play a golf. So yes, for yes condition, right? Again, probability for no. So based on this sunny, hot, normal, and false. So based on this, you are supposed to tell me that I will be able to play a golf or I will not be able to play a golf. So if I'll have to write this equation, right? If I have to write this equation, right? So how you will be able to write this equation? So you can write this equation in this way. So probability of yes of this one is nothing but the equation that we have derived in a previous slide is nothing but, so probability of sunny when yes into probability of, right, a probability of a sunny yes, because the original equation is nothing but p a of b, probability of occurrence of a when b has already occurred is nothing but probability of b when a has already happened into probability of a divided by probability of b. This is what we are supposed to find out. Okay. Now here, so I will just try to rewrite the same equation. So probability of sunny with yes, probability of humidity with yes, probability of normal, right, with yes, and probability of, I can say this false, windy, no wind is with respect to yes, into probability of yes, into probability of yes, right, divided by, so in a denominator you will be having what? So in a denominator, probability of sunny, probability of humidity, probability of a normal condition, and probability of a false. So again, denominator will be same in yes and no. So you can just cancel this out, and we are going to take care of a numerator itself. Now, this is the answer that I'm looking for. So if I have, right, somehow if I have all of this value, right, somehow if I have all of these values from our data set, so yes, I will be able to perform this operation. Yeah. So I will be able to tell you that what is a probability that it will be yes, and what is a probability that it will be no. I will be able to tell you easily, right? I will be able to tell you that, okay, fine. So what is the probability of yes and what is the probability of no? Similarly, probability of no will be what? So probability of like a sunny with no, probability of, you can say probability of humid with no, right, when no like a probability of occurrence of humid when you are not playing a golf, and probability of my bad, probability of this normal with no, probability of false with no into probability of no. Denominator is same, so it's fine. I'm just canceling this out. Yeah. So if I'm able to find out this one, and if I'm able to find out this one, so I will be able to tell you that what is a probability that you will be able to play a golf and you will not be able to play a golf if this condition is given to you. This condition is given to you. So I will be able to give you yes or no. Final class, yes or no, I will be able to give you in a easiest possible way. Okay. Now, so let's try to do the computation. So let's try to perform this yes operation in the first place. So for yes operation, so we are supposed to find out that what is a probability of occurrence of sunny, right, in our outlook table. So what is a probability of occurrence of sunny when you played a golf, already played a golf, which data is already given to you, right, in a very beginning. It's a supervised problem that we are trying to solve. So data is already given to you, and based on that we have already constructed a table, right? So what is a probability of playing a, like what is a probability of occurrence of Sunny when you have played a golf? Anyone? Yeah. So anyone who can tell me? Someone is saying like a 2 by 9, 3 by 9, 3 by 10, 2 by 9. Okay. So just look into this one. So Sunny belongs to which like a which like a column? Can I say Outlook column? Right. So what I will do is I will start looking into Outlook table. Yeah. Let's suppose whatever they have written, it's correct. Although it's incorrect, this and this is incorrect. These two like things is interchanged, right? But let's suppose this table is correct, so let's don't get will not try to get confused, and we'll try to go after this table itself. Okay, now here, right? So probability of, I'm just simple asking one question: probability of occurrence of Sunny when you have already played a golf, right? What is a probability that you will be able to find out, right? So probability of Sunny when you have played a golf is 2 by 9. This is what you will be able to find out. So here it's a 2 by 9 into probability of humidity. So humidity comes from which sorry, hot, right? So hot, probability of temperature is hot. So when you have played a golf, so what will be the probability? 2 by 9. Yes. So again, 2 by 9 I can try to rewrite. Now again, so probability of a normal humid condition, right? Normal humid condition when you have played a golf. So normal humid condition when you have played a golf, yes, is 6 by 9. So 6 by 9 you are supposed to write down. Probability of false means windy condition is false, right? Windy false when you have played a golf, right? When you have played a golf. So windy condition false when you have played a golf is this one. So I'm going to consider 6 by 9 into probability of yes. So what is the probability of yes? So out of total 14 data, right? There was total 14 data set. 9 times you said yes. So it's a 9 by 14 that you will be able to find out. So 9 by 14 that you will be able to find out. And approximately this is going to give you 0.01, right? 41. If you are trying to do a calculation, I'm just taking calculation from the website itself. Yeah. So I'm able to find out that whether I will be able to probability of yes. Y means yes, I'm trying to write based on today condition. So based on what is the today condition? Sunny, hot, normal, and false, right? Based on what? So based on the relational table which I was able to build. Now probability of no, I will try to find out based on today condition. So this is the probability which I'm supposed to find out, right? So here probability of, right, for no, probability of not playing a golf, not playing a golf in case of a outlook sunny condition, right? In case of a outlook sunny condition we have to find out. So probability of what is the not playing probability of not playing a golf? It's a 3 by 5, right? So it's a 3 by 5 that we have. Now probability of not playing a golf, right, in case of a hot temperature. So in case of a hot temperature, what is the probability of not playing a golf? 2 by 5. So 2 by 5 I can write. Probability of not playing a golf, right? So when this humidity is normal, right? So here you will be able to find out 1 by 5. So yes, it's a 1 by 5. Now, so probability of I have to find out that wind is false when you have not played a golf. So wind is false, I can try to say it's a 2 by 5 that we have. So yes, 2 by 5. And probability of not playing, right? What is the probability of not playing a golf at all? So it's a 5 by 14. So it's a 5 by 14. So if you will try to calculate, so you will be able to find out 0.0068, right? So this is the answer that you will be able to find out. So you are based on today's condition. So whatever condition that is been given to you, so based on today's condition, this is the probability, this is the respective probability that you all are able to find out. Now, so if you have to make a decision that whether I will be able to play a golf or I won't be able to play a golf, easily you will be able to find out this particular things just by looking into this outcome. So if I have to like write yes, or if I have to write no over here, so what I can do is, so I can try to like just check these values, and I can say that probability of yes based on today's condition is greater than probability of no based on today's condition. So right, 0.0141 is greater than 0.0068, and so my final answer will be yes. So I will try to write yes over here based on this condition, right? Based on this condition. And this is what we were trying to understand, right? This is what we were trying to understand, that okay, fine, so how this naive Bayes algorithm is going to work. So this is how this Bayesian algorithm, naive Bayes algorithm, is going to work for what? For a categorical data. Simple, right? So for the categorical data, so this is what it is like, this is how it is like going to work, right? So you can just try to like check that out in this way, right? So if you would like to like consider, I'll say like denominator, so you can do that, and in that way like you will be able to find a probability of yes plus no is equal to 1. So anyhow, probability or combined probability will always be equal to 1, right? The overall probability. And here we are able to like prove it. Here we all are able to like prove it, and we all are able to find out that yes, this is something which is going to happen. Yeah. So this is how, in a simplest possible way, guys, like naive Bayes works. So as you can see, like independently each and everyone is contributing. So I'm trying to take like an independent contribution every time. I'm trying to take independent contribution, right, of each and everyone on my yes or on my no, and then individually, individual contribution, I'm going to like based on individual contribution, I'm just trying to calculate it, and then I'm trying to find out my final answer, simplest possible way. Yeah. Denominator is same, right? So denominator is same. If you will try to calculate, so I'm just trying to, because I'm trying to like there will be a denominator in yes as well as there is a denominator in no. So you can take it. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to take it like a denominator, right? So what I'm trying to say is like a denominator is common, so I'm just trying to like cancel that out. If you have to take the denominator, okay, let's take the denominator once again. So here, probability of like if you will try to find out, right? So what is our probability of this sunny condition, and then what is our probability of this like a humidity condition, or if you will try to find out what is a probability of this particular like I will say like a normal condition, what is a probability of this condition. So how you will be able to find out, guys? Any idea? What is the probability of the sunny condition? Anyone who can tell me? Anyone? Okay. So out of this 14 data, look into Outlook table, right? Out of this 14 data, how many times you are getting sunny? Just tell me how many times you are getting sunny. Yeah, 5 by 4. Okay. So probability of this sunny condition is 5 by 4. Now into probability of this humid hot condition. So how many times you are getting hot out of 14 times? Guys, how many times you are getting hot? So 4 times, right? So into 4 by 14. Then how many times you are getting a normal in this column? How many times you are getting normal, right? Out of 14 data, 7 by 14. Into how many times you are getting this one? Like how many times you are getting false out of like in this windy data set. So 8 by 14. 8 by 14. Now what is the total calculation? Just calculate it. So what will be the what like just try to calculate this one and then give me the data. Sunny is 5. Yeah, 5. Sorry, 5 by 14. I have just written 4. Yeah, it's 14. 14 is total data, right? So yes, guys, can you please do the calculation and give me a fraction value? Yeah. So Goldie is saying that it's 0.029, right? 0.029. Okay. Okay. Someone is saying 0.0029. Just give me the correct result, guys. Just let's use the calculator and then calculate it. I'm looking for like some fractional values. Okay, 0.029 is the final values. Now let's do one thing. So this, right? So 0.0141 divided by 0.029. Just give me this result. And if we are trying to do like a 0.0068 divided by 0.029, so then and also give me the result. So for both of these things. No, I think it's a wrong probability that wrong calculation, a little bit of wrong calculation that we have done actually, because combined probability will always be equal to one. So it is not going to be like lesser than one at all. Okay. So fine, not an issue. So what we can do over here is, so we can try to find out the combined probability. So combined probability of anything, I'll say, right? So combined probability we can try to find out. Anyhow, like a denominator is same, so we can just cancel out, and then based on this, so we can try to make a decision. You can don't tally, it's too high. See it it will tally actually, so it will tally for sure, but yeah, so there is some wrong calculation which has happened in between, and just based on that, so it is not able to give me the correct result, right? But yeah, so as we can see, like for yes, we are getting like a high denominator, because numerator will be same anyhow. Numerator is going to be denominator is going to be same, so this particular factor is going to be same. This denominator is going to be same, so we are not supposed to worry about a denominator, because in both the condition this is going to be same. So we are going to divide both the numbers with the same factors, right? So we are going to divide, so based on just our numerator, so we'll be able to make a decision, and that is a correct decision that we can try to make. And yes, for this one it's yes. So yes is a correct answer for this one. Yeah, because denominator is anyhow it's same. So you can just try to do a recalculation, and based on that you will be able to find out. So guys, this is what happens in case of a categorical data whenever you have, and whenever you are trying to make some kind of a decision, whenever you are trying to make some kind of a classifier based on that. Now, so if I have a continuous data, right? If I have a continuous if I have a continuous values, right, in for each and every feature, right? And if for that we are able to find out a normal distribution for each and every feature. Let's suppose like I have a data, and I have a multiple columns over here, like I have x1, x2, and so on, right? So if every column is trying to show you a normal distribution, and every column is again following the same rule, means like individually they are contributing on a y, individually they are contributing on a y. So what I can do is, so in that case you are not supposed to use this formula. You are not supposed to use this p of a of b is a probability of occurrence of b when a has already happened, into probability of a divided by probability of b. This is not you are supposed to use at all. So in that case, so this will not work if we are talking about the continuous data set. So in this case, what you will be able to use is, so probability of occurrence of x with respect to y is nothing but, or xi with respect to y. So you will be able to find out this a simple normal distribution formula. I think we all are aware about that, because in stats we talked about this formula. So 2 pi rho square of y exponent of, I can say, minus of 1 by 2 x minus mu divided by rho square. So I think this is something that we have already seen. This is something that we have already learned, right, in our previous classes as well, right? So in our stats classes, so we have seen this formula. So what is a formula for a normal distribution, right? So for formula for normal distribution is nothing but, so 1 by a root of 2 pi like a sigma square, right? Sigma square exponent of like a simple minus of 1 by 2, right? Minus of 1 by 2. Yeah, so this square will be here. So minus of 1 by 2 into x minus mu by a sigma of whole square. So in a simplest possible way, this is how I can write the formula. Yeah, so this is basically is going to give you probability of occurrence of x when with respect to y, or vice versa. So in case of a continuous data set, so we are supposed to use this area distribution. So and based on that, I will be able to perform this kind of a operation. The other kind of a naive Bayes algorithm that you will be Bayesian algorithm that you will be able to find out is like a multinomial naive Bayes, or maybe Bernoulli's naive Bayes. So these are the different kind of naive Bayes algorithm that you all will be able to find out. There are many more naive Bayes you will be able to find out in the same family itself, right? So if you will just try to check the official documentation of this one, so yes, you will be able to find out multinomial, you will be able to find out the complement naive Bayes, you will be able to find out like a Bernoulli's theorem, you will be able to find out categorical naive Bayes, you will be able to find out many other different naive Bayes algorithms as well. Like I told you, it's a family of the algorithm. It's not a single algorithm that generally we use. But yeah, so whenever we talk about a naive Bayes, so generally people uses this word, right? So what I can do is I can just try to go to Google, naive Bayes sk learn. Yeah, so naive Bayes sk learn, if I'll try to open it up. So here this is something that we were talking about, right? We have discussed these particular things, right? This is exact same thing that we have seen. And here, so you will be able to find out Gaussian naive Bayes. So Gaussian naive Bayes is a classification algorithm again, but it has been used when this is the same, the Gaussian formula, which I was talking about, right? I think in the stats, we have already seen this equation. So Gaussian naive Bayes you will be able to use in terms of just a continuous data set. Then there is a multinomial naive Bayes that you will be able to again use, right? So for the multinomially like a distributed data set. Now there is something called as a complement like a naive Bayes. So this is again like a equation, or this is again a naive Bayes equation which belongs to the Bayesian family. And again there is something called as a Bernoulli's naive Bayes. So at least remember a name. So whenever you are going for an interview, right? So whenever someone is talking about naive Bayes, start talking about all those names, and after that, so people will not even categorical naive Bayes is another one. Yeah. So these are the these are the different algorithm which falls under this naive Bayes Bayesian algorithm. Again, individual implementation is given to you. you can try to like go through it, and these algorithms are pretty much important algorithms. So in a certain scenario, in certain situation, right, you are supposed to use this algorithm directly or indirectly at any point of a time. Okay, so these are like a variety of the algorithm, guys, and yes, feel free to write down some papers and something. Can you please repeat the equation for the continuous variable? Yes, sure. I can repeat the equation for the continuous variable. It's a same equation that we used to study. So it's nothing but like a 1 by, I will say. So it's nothing but like a 1 by root of, so 2 pi, right? Sigma square into exponent of, I can say 1 by 2 x minus mu by sigma of square, right? So now if you will try to check over here, so you will be able to find out the same equation. See, it's the same equation, so just written in a different way. So 1 by 2 will come outside, this is the 2, right? And I have taken the complete square of this one, complete square, so this will go out. Yeah, so I've taken the complete square. So I'm just trying to write down these things in a simplest possible way. If you have to simplify more, so what you can do is you can try to write in this way. So 1 of sigma root of 2 pi, right? Exponent of minus 1 by 2 x minus mu divided by sigma of square. So this is like a, you will be able to find out now here. So you will be able to find out that it's a probability of occurrence of x when y has already happened. So you can say like a b, right? So this is what you will be able to find out now here. So whenever you talk about like this one rho, or whenever you are talking about this one mu, right? So which is our average and which is nothing but a standard deviation. This no, this is not rho, it's a sigma. It's a sigma symbol. So it's a standard deviation. So you are supposed to find out a standard deviation with respect to this one, right? So let's suppose like in our cases, so what was B? So B was nothing but it's a today's condition, right? It was a today's condition. So for all of those like features, we are supposed to find out what? We are supposed to find out sigma, standard deviations, and we are supposed to find out the average, and then this data minus average, data minus average. This is how the calculation should happen. So in just try to recall your stats classes, simple. So in stats classes, I think we talked about this one, that if I'll give you like a 1 2 3 10 11 20 and so on kind of a data, so how you will be able to like build this normal distribution or Gaussian distribution, how you will be able to build. So you were able to find out y, right? You were able to find out y based on what? So based on same thing, right? You were able to find out y, and what was y, by the way? So y was a coordinate that you were able to find out for all the respective x coordinate, right? So the same equation which I'm talking about as of now. So it's not a different equation that I'm talking about as of now. So here, just in terms of probability, because this is what? This is basically an area. This represents what? This represents area. Now this area is equal to 1. So I can try to utilize these things as a probability. This is what we have used even in case of a Z statistics, right? In your like a in your, I can say this classes like stats classes, right? We have seen these things, right? So we were trying to consider this entire area is equal to 1, and we were able to find out that if this data is given, then what is a probability that this data will belongs to this one or that one, or estimation. Even we were able to do it just based on the area. So it was trying to give me what? It was trying to give me area, and area was representing a probability. I'm trying to find out the same thing, right? So what is the probability of occurrence of yes when this condition is given to you? It simply means that in this case, so what is the area it is going to enclose? So what is a probability when I'm saying probability of a of b over here in case of a continuous data? So what is a area enclosed by a, right? Or let's suppose what is the area enclosed by a when this condition is given to you? Means when 2 3 10 I have given to you, so what is the total area which it is going to enclose? In this way you can try to understand. So it's a area that we are able to find out in this kind case, in case of a continuous distribution. Yeah, simple. Okay, so moving back to our implementation is, again, it's not a big deal type of thing. So here again, same thing you will be able to find out, right? So we are trying to find out probability and all those things. Yeah, so again, one example is given to you, and here this is the continuous. So it's the same like a formula that we have. So here I'm just trying to import all the things. No module called a scikit plot. Okay, Okay, failed to build. So Conda, let's check whether it's available or not. I can try to find out scikit-plot and PyPy. So scikit-plot, PyPy. Let's check what is the exact. Yeah, so this is the exact scikit-plot, PyPy. Let's cancel out all those things and then let's do this. It will work. Yeah. So whenever you get confused, just do one thing. Just try to search in a PyPy. So PyPy is the official repo for like any pip, right? So you will be able to get like a exact pip installation and then exact like this one. Yeah. So just you can copy and then you can just try to execute it if something is not working for you. So simple. Now things are working for me. I'm just trying to download like a diabetic data set and then here, so like you can say that our outcome is either 101010, right? And here, so my like I will be like a diabetic or I won't be diabetic based on what? Maybe based on like a age or maybe based on BMI, based on insulin, based on like a skin thickness, based on blood pressure, based on glucose, based on pregnancies, right? So like basically like I'm supposed to find out whether I will be a diabetic or whether I won't be diabetic. Yeah. And there are individual condition which has been given to you. So any of this individual condition is going to contribute. So whenever you have some kind of a fever, right? So it's not like combined data is going to give you the result. In that case, maybe that's because of one factor you have this disease or that disease, right? So this is something that's that is going to work for you. So you can try to like perform the description. So I'm just performing a description so that I will be able to check whether there is some null values or not. Yeah, so like there is no null values. All the columns is having the same data set, right? 768 data set records. So it's fine. I think we are not new to this one, right? And zero value with the mean of the column. So we are just trying to do some replacement. I'm expecting that you all will be able to do that. We are trying to handle some outliers as well, right? So like here in this particular case, so I think it's the same thing that we have done even in our previous like a lectures. So we were trying to like remove some percentage of the data set, drop some percent of the data set. So here I'm trying to prepare my X data, my Y data. I'm trying to convert these things into a standard scalar, right? So you can say standardization of the data we are trying to do. So implementation simple. So I'm not just going through like a line by line because this is a kind of a code that we have seen since the very beginning. So that's the reason. So I'm not just going through everything. Now here, so I'm trying to like find out the VIF so that I will be able to find out like a collinearity between the data set, right? So VIF values are lesser than 5 are very low. So that means there is no collinearity in between any of this columns that I'm able to find out. So now we can our data is good in that case. If VIF is like more than that, so in that case, my data set is collinear. So I can try to drop one of these columns in that case. And here, so I'm trying to use what? I'm trying to use a Gaussian naive Bayes algorithm, right? So because my data set was what? So my data set was basically a continuous data set. My data set was not a categorical data set. All of these data set is what? It's a continuous, right? So in case of a continuous, so you are not supposed to use a naive Bayes, right? You are supposed to use a Gaussian naive Bayes in that particular case. And that's the reason. So I'm trying to import a Gaussian naive Bayes. Maybe I can try to use a different naive Bayes as well. And as you can see, all those naive Bayes are available, right? So like a base naive Bayes, Bernoulli's naive Bayes, categorical naive Bayes, right? So all of like a base discrete naive Bayes. So these are like algorithms which is already available to you. Gaussian naive Bayes, right? So multinomial naive Bayes. So these are like a different algorithm which is like already available to you. Depends upon your need, depends upon your data. You can just try to call that one. I'm trying to call Gaussian because my data set is continuous. So I'll try to call this one. And then I'm just trying to fit these things. And after fitting these things, like, yes, we have like this model. I can try to like save the model. I can try to perform the prediction operation by passing my test data set, and then I can try to check the accuracy score. So it's a 70% in a later stage. So yeah, I'm trying to draw the confusion matrices as well just to check the accuracy. So let's to find out like accuracy of these data set. So accuracy is like 78%, and again precision I'm trying to find out, right? So what is the precision? So since the very beginning, so we are using it. Recall F1 score like area under the curve we are trying to find out. So these are just matrices that we all are trying to find out, nothing else, right? So again, I think I have not discussed about ROC AUC curve. So now I'll have to discuss about this. So probably in next class, I will be talking about AUC ROC curve as well. Based on that, so like how AUC ROC curve contributes, how like a F1 score contributes. If for some algorithm F1 score is too high, for someone F1 score is too low. So in which one, how I'm supposed to understand a trade-off, or where AUC ROC will comes into a picture. So these are the things that I will be talking about, because now it's a time to utilize this all of those things one by one. Yeah. So I'm just trying to build the model over here, simple. So I'm just trying to build the model, and then I'm trying to check the accuracy of this model. So it's a 78%. Maybe I can try to do some hypermeter tuning, and I can try to increase or decrease the accuracy of the model, right? That depends, that basically depends. But yeah, this is what we all are trying to do over here. And here, so we are trying to solve the same things with respect to a logistic, right? So by just calling a logistic relation, and you are able to find out that it is able to understand, but 75% accuracy it is trying to give it to me. But why this, why prediction logic is not defined, why pred. Okay. So this logistic is giving me, for the same data set, logistic is giving me like a 75% accuracy, and whereas naive Bayes is giving me a 78% accuracy, and it will give me like a more stable model. I can try to do a comparison of like a ROC curve of this logistic, as well as I will try to do this comparison for this one, right? And then based on that, so maybe I'll try to decide. So this AUC ROC I will be talking about in a next one. Let's try to conclude this things advantage and disadvantage, because AUC ROC comes into a picture when we have to do a comparison between two algorithms. So let's suppose we are trying to build some ROC AUC ROC curve for logistics and for naive Bayes. So out of this logistics and naive Bayes, which one I'm supposed to use, which one will be the best fitted model? So yes, this one is going to give me that answer. So this is where we are going to utilize it now here. So if I'll talk about advantages and disadvantages, so naive Bayes is extremely fast for both training and prediction, and they don't have to learn to create the separate classes. Naive Bayes provides a direct probabilistic prediction. Naive Bayes is often easy to interpret. Naive Bayes has a fewer parameter to tune. Yes, true. Disadvantage, the algorithm assumes that features are independent, which is not always the scenario. So wherever features are not independent, you are not supposed to use naive Bayes. So first of all, you will have to perform your own analysis, and based on that, you will have to make this decision. So zero frequency, that is if category of the categorical variable is not seen in a training data set even once, then model assign a zero probability. What is the meaning of it? So I was talking about this one. So I was talking about this one. So if let's suppose inside this table that it is trying to build, so for sure for some categories, right? For some categories, if probability is zero, right? So for sure overcast, this is zero. So what it will do is it will try to nullify each and every time that probability, because how it is trying to make a final calculation, it is trying to make a final calculation based on these tables. So internally try to build this particular table. So when you are saying that you are trying to train your naive Bayes model, right? Actually you are trying to build this table now. So here if this factor is zero, so every time whenever you will try to find out that what was a overcast, no, so in that case it will always try to give you this probability, right? So if this is like a zero, so in that case it will always try to give you like a false result. So this is again a disadvantages that you will be able to get, and this is something which has been mentioned over here. So you are supposed to take a huge data set, right, as huge as possible, so that it will be able to build a robust table, probability table, because it's learning simply means that it try to build the probability table, simple, nothing else it used to do. So the table that you are able to see, similar kind of a table, system builds it internally, right? And then the way we have done the calculation, probability calculation, it try to do a same thing, a probability calculation in that way. Yeah. Okay. So this is like a disadvantages you will be able to get in case of a naive Bayes. So now it's time to take some question. When do apply like a log loss? Okay. So I think it's not a part of your naive Bayes. If correlation between the feature is high, then we can't use correlation between the features are high, then we can't use this algorithm. You can say that yes, if there is a high correlation in between the features, so for sure you are not supposed to use it because your features are not independent, right? So your feature must be independent in that case. In case of a feature, we have a categorical and numerical. So in either of these, you'll have to convert. Either you can use categorical or either you can use like a numerical. Why we are not getting a total probability of yes and no as one? You will get it actually. So if you try to recalculate, you will be able to get it. Yeah. So anyhow, we are nullifying the like a denominator factor, right? So if you are going to calculate it in a best possible way, so yes. Okay. So what is our best way to know whether the columns are independent or not? The best way is like a business understanding. So if you have like an understanding of the business, if you have the understanding of the data set, so I will say that to find out this particular factor, that is the best way by which you will be able to find out. Siva, can we use a heat map for feature independence? No. Okay, how we find the collinearity in the categorical data by ANOVA test? No. When the probability is 0, we use some function and add 1 to it. I read the blog and can't remember if you some when probability is 0, we use some function and add 1 to it. No, I'm like, what is the situation that you're talking about, Rajbi? So I'm not able to understand your situation. Yeah, exactly. So how will you make sure that sample we have taken is true representative of the population? Because if any categorical record maximum probability, then it can be influence the test. Yeah, so in that case, you will have to like go through a ANOVA and chi-square. So if you have to like find out that we have statistically, if you have to prove that sample is a true representation of the population, so that is a way by which you will be able to find out. Okay. So fine guys. So I think like we are done and just try to like go through it. Just try to like create your use cases one by one. And I think yesterday I told you that you can start writing a blog if you want. So again, from our side, so we are publishing multiple blogs so that you all will be able to learn, you all will be able to revise, you all will be able to see a new cases and all those things, right? So just feel free to like register, sign in, and then like start writing something new, something useful, something genuine, right? And yeah, so with that, so again in next class, so I will be talking about anomaly detection. So I'll be talking about anomaly detection, and there you will be able to find out that we are going to use some of the previous algorithm that we have already discussed. And yeah, so anomaly, I think it will take one class, and then in another class I will be talking about this like a terms, TF-IDF, like a tokenization, lemmatization, and all those things. And sentiment analysis I will be talking about, and then I will be talking about like a time series. So like again, so univariant and multivariant time series analysis I will be talking about with respect to machine learning. So this is the agenda. Probably I'll try to cover. So maybe I'll try to start time series by next week itself, and then yeah, whatever is left. So I think after that there is only chatbot and project that we'll have to do. So fine, and then whatever topics are left, small topics here and there. So we'll ask you to like raise your concern, and then you can raise your concern, and we'll try to discuss those topics, and then we'll close. So with that, thank you so much, guys, and see you again in your next class. But yes, practice, try to compare all those algorithms, write something, create something new, right? So those things are very much important from the interview perspective, and start working on your profile from now itself. So from now itself, start building like a exposed profile. You can say like a where you can exaggerate like a kind of a knowledge that you have, so that whenever people will just look into your resume, so they will not be just able to find out just a very common resume. So your resume should looks very different in terms of capabilities, that okay, you, this guy has done this or that, these kind of things you are supposed to showcase. And that you will be able to showcase by writing blogs, by maybe creating some videos, by publishing some research paper, right? And there are many other ways as well. So from now onwards, start working on that, right? We don't have much time left, so we can you can start, you guys can start working on your profile effectively, and maybe probably in next 2 months, so you will be ready for in next 2 months, I'll say, so you will be ready for like an interview. Yeah, so start working on everything that you have learned, and then start adding all of those things. With that, thank you so much, and see you again in your next class.